Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Oner First Thoughts. This is the portion of our show that is spoiler-free. I'm Austin Archer, and this week we are talking about Toy Story 5. What can be said about this film that hasn't already been said 1,000 times on the internet on other channels? Why does this movie exist? We all know why it exists. It exists because Disney is not going to let that money go unmade, right? They got to go get the money. But is it good? Did I enjoy it? Sure. We will get into plot details and spoilers in the full version of the show that will be available on the channel shortly. But in brief, I will say to you, I have a really weird time with these movies. I think that the original trilogy, 1, 2, and 3, like that story tells a really nice arc that is resolved really well and probably should have just ended there. There's a lot to be said about just the value of a good ending. End the MCU at Endgame, and you've got a really nice beginning, middle, and end that would have been really satisfying, but they just kept going, and now we're into the territory of whatever this latest phase has been. Nobody even knows what Doomsday's going to be. It's not that Toy Story 4 and 5 are bad films. They're not. It's just that they're not really saying anything new that hasn't already been said better by 1, 2, and 3. 4 does a thing that I think justifies its existence, but in 5 it really felt like to me like we were just retreading territory that had already been trod, and that's just what's going to happen whenever you keep a story going beyond its expiration date, after its natural ending point. But that's sort of the nature of the main characters of the story that I find kind of disturbing and upsetting and depressing to watch. And it's sort of been this way from the jump. Toy Story, at its core, is about the sort of sacred nature of childhood, the sacred nature of imagination and play for the sake of play without ulterior motive or agenda, just playing because it feels good. It's about the nature of time and the lack of it, you know, the fact that in a full human life, if you're able to live 90 or 100 years, your childhood is going to be the shortest period in your life and the most unique period in your life. Like, there's no other period in your life like that. The vast majority of your life is going to be spent in some form of adulthood, paying bills, going to a job, making and forming and maintaining adult relationships, getting into adult arguments, handling the day-to-day malaise of adult life. But that sacred little space in childhood where you just get to go and invent and create and play is what these movies are ultimately about. The problem these films have always had is that their main characters are not children. Their main characters exist to serve children in that sacred space, but the main characters that the films are about are characters whose existence I find to be like really hard to watch at times. And the deeper we go into the films, the harder it gets for me. And it's been there since the very first film. I saw this meme the other day that was like, I keep thinking about how Sid wasn't actually a villain in Toy Story 1. He was just a kid getting creative with his toys and having fun. He did not know that the toys were sentient and experiencing some kind of torture when he was playing with them the way that he was. And like, rightly so. The toys shouldn't be sentient. Sid doesn't know that he's torturing sentient beings. They shouldn't be alive. And this meme was like, that kid did nothing wrong. Those toys shouldn't be alive. And that's like, while it's the whole central premise of the entire franchise, it's also the thing that makes the franchise like really sad and really weirdly depressing, because our main characters, Woody, Buzz, Bo Peep, Potato Head, Jessie, Bullseye, they're stuck in this like purgatory. They can't age, they can't die unless they are physically destroyed. They almost die at the end of 3 by being incinerated, but unless their bodies are like broken apart and melted and burned to a crisp, they're immortal. They can't die, they don't age. They could potentially live hundreds of years if they are not, you know, chopped up into little bits and, you know, burned and killed. And for the majority of these characters, for the majority of the toys that we meet, the happiest part of their life is when they get a few years with a kid who wants to play with them. And for a lot of the toys that we encounter in all five films, that period is like, it's like 2 or 3 years, and then they spend the rest of their life rotting away in the backyard of some house or in a shed or in a garage. And the toys in the main continuity have several different shots at this. From the jump, from Toy Story 2, we're already seeing that Andy's getting a little older. And even in Toy Story 1, it's like about how Andy gets bored of playing with Woody because he's got a new shiny toy in Buzz Lightyear. And the whole thing is about like the fleeting nature of this time that they get with Andy. The original trilogy is, by the time the third one's over, Andy's heading off to college and he gives his toys away to Bonnie. So the toys get a shot at a new life with Bonnie. But what we know is that that's just as fleeting. It's just as fleeting as Jesse's relationship with Emily. It's just as fleeting as Buzz and Woody's relationship with Andy. Whatever they have with Bonnie can only last a few years because that's how childhood goes. But these toys are like permanent children who only ever want to play. That's the highest ambition of their life. And when they're left alone, when they're abandoned, they're just devastated, and they're sort of like cursed to just keep reliving this cycle where they get to meet a kid who's great, who loves them and wants to play with them, and then experience the devastating heartbreak of that kid deciding they don't find them interesting anymore and don't want to look at them or play with them anymore. And I don't know. They've sort of written themselves into this situation where I'm like, stop making me look at this. Stop making me look at these characters who are just like forced to experience this torment over and over and over again. And there are obviously touching moments in all of the films. It's nice when we do tap on those themes of the sacredness of childhood and how the toys help the kids rediscover the special nature of play in each film. But ultimately we know, like, cool, you got Bonnie to play again. You found her a friend who wants to play with toys again. She's just going to grow up and forget about you in a couple of years. Bonnie's just going to be Emily any day now. She's just going to be Andy any day now. We know that's the nature of your life. And at least Toy Story 4 had Woody saying, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to say it. I've spent enough time in my life trying to make kids happy. I'm going to go try to be a happy toy. And he goes off and lives like as an independent lost toy with a bunch of other lost toys and just tries to have his own existence. And that was something for Toy Story 4 to do. Toy Story 5 is just back to the old grind of like, man, the life of these toys sucks. They're just back in the situation of feeling forgotten, feeling overlooked, feeling unloved and undesired by this kid who their entire existence exists to please. And even though the movie at its end is like, hey, we're back with Bonnie, we still know that, like, yeah, for now you're back with Bonnie. And we also know that a Toy Story 6 is all but inevitable for the same reasons that they made 4 and 5. It's just a weird franchise. It's just weird. It's a weird thing that I've grown up with. I watched the first one in theaters when I was 7 years old, and I'm 38 now. And they just keep making them every few years, and every time I come back to it, I just get a little sadder and a little sadder. And that's my thoughts about it. I can't say really that I like these movies. I also can't say that they're poorly made or bad, because they're not. They're just weird. I just feel bad for the main characters in them, and it makes me feel sad about the, impermanent nature of life. And I don't know. We'll get deeper into it on the full episode, I guess. Take it away, Kramer.
Thank you, Austin. Okay, we are talking about Toy Story 5. Spoiler-free review from me. My first thoughts on this, I gotta say, I did not love this movie. It's getting a lot of praise. It's got a really good Rotten Tomatoes score, but most of the things that I'm reading are kind of saying the same thing, which is like, it's good. There's a lot of good stuff, but they always make them good, which is true. This movie is not a bad movie. Toy Story 4 was not a bad movie, but Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 are probably the best trilogy ever made. Just because they're all consistently so good. And Toy Story 3 was such an amazing ending that I don't think that 4 and 5 are necessary, as many people also believe. Now, having said that, 1, 2, and 3 are great. That's my trilogy that I just think of, and 4 and 5 are not really necessarily a part of that. So that's fine. I still love 1, 2, and 3. but I enjoyed 4. I thought there were some good things. I thought there were some really funny things in 4. I still don't think it was necessary, and it kind of went away from what 1, 2, and 3 were really good at. But I didn't I didn't hate it, and I thought there was some good stuff in it, and I enjoyed it. This one, it's such a high bar. I was thinking, okay, well, I was going into it thinking, I know it's not going to be. I'm hoping it's better than 4, and I hope that it's still a good time with a good story and a lot of heart. I mean, it does have some heart for sure. There's some emotional moments. There's some good stuff in here. But overall, I did not love this movie. It really didn't justify its existence. There's a great theme that is discovered in this movie, but it was so quick that it just like it wasn't even any time to settle in. And I'm excited to get into that part of it with Austin, because that really frustrated me. And the problem with this movie is there's too much going on. Like there was too much. It was an hour and 45 minutes, but it felt so long to me. Like there was so many storylines going on and so many things, like all this different stuff happening, and I just was wanting some time to sit with these some of these moments, or some of these characters are kind of all over the place and going on. There's just a lot of unnecessary scenes, a lot of unnecessary things going on that I just did not feel like much was going on. And or I felt like a lot of it was unnecessary. They could have taken some things out and spent a little bit more time with the main storyline, but they didn't. So, I mean, I'm definitely in the minority here because a lot of people are liking it. So I went with my wife and kids. First of all, if you want to see a good movie with your family, for sure, go see this movie. See it in a theater. It's really fun. I have 2 boys and 2 girls. My 2 boys are the oldest, and then it's my 2 girls. My 2 girls loved it, and my wife loved it, which I totally see. Like it's a good movie. Like it's not poorly made. There's a lot of fun moments in it. Pixar knows how to make like solid films. Just with me, my expectations were in a different place, and I just didn't love it. I didn't love it. I can't say it's bad. It's not a poorly made film, but it's just I didn't love it. But my kids loved it. My 2 boys, they're a little bit older now. They kind of had their reservations about it, but they didn't love it as much as my daughters, but they loved it. So go see this movie in the theater, because if you have kids, for sure, take your family. It's better than a lot of other movies for sure. But just know that it's just really, I don't know. I had a lot of problems with it, and I really I don't want to spoil anything. I got to get into it with Austin, and I'm excited to get into it with Austin. It'll be interesting to hear what he has to say about it, and kind of our conversation. But I really love all the other movies. I think they're really well made. Well, 1, 2, and 3, I just think are just so great. I mean, I saw this movie. I remember where I was when I saw this movie. I saw it at the Villa Theater, which is no longer a theater here in Utah, but it was like a actually big screen theater, and it was a huge auditorium, like old school. And I saw Toy Story. Me and Austin might have seen it together, but like awesome movie. I loved it, and I still love those movies. I still think there's a great story in there. It is really, like I said, I think it's probably the best trilogy ever made as far as consistency of how good the films are. Let me know what you think. Actually, what is that? What is your guys' best trilogy that's ever been made? Let us know in the comments down below. But let us know what you think about this movie too. I didn't really love it, and I know that Austin didn't really love it. And we'll get into it. We'll get into our spoiler discussion soon. But let us know your comments. What did you think about the movie? Does it justify its existence? Comment below. Let us know. Don't forget to subscribe. Let us know what you think of the show, and we're continuing this new format. Let us know what you think. We really appreciate the comments. We really appreciate the views. But yeah, we'll look forward to talking with Austin and seeing what everybody else thinks. So we will talk then, and we will see you on the next one.